What's going on, gamers? What's going on, Black Myth Wukong lovers? So, the creator of Black Myth Wukong recently just said the Game Awards is bullcrap to him, and he feels snubbed pretty much. And the selection process, he felt like he was there for nothing, meaning that he got robbed for Game of the Year. He didn't feel like Astro was Game of the Year. Of course, it wasn't. I mean, even if that didn't win Game of the Year, Wukong did, I think next in line should have been either Metaphor or Seven Rebirth. And I'm gonna explain some things too. Definitely when it comes to like them giving like um best direction to Astrobot 2, which is absolutely retarded. But Geoff Keighley is a Sony ass licker, and he's a goddamn sellout. He's a Hollywood sellout. Um, Guys, let's think about this. Astrobot is like 75, I don't know, majority of it, even they said themselves, it's mostly a Mario Galaxy, Mario Sunshine, and a couple other Mario aspect like clones all over it. I'm not saying that those developers are not talented and our team of Sobies are not good developers and that it's a bad game. I'm not saying any of that, but it's not the Game of the Year winner and it does not deserve no goddamn best direction either. Like when you're directing something, you're like, okay, man, let's see, that game, I can beat it in 9 hours. You can get a 100% in like 13, 14 hours. If you want to get even a clear on Black Myth Wukong, and let's talk about this. Somebody who actually played, right? 40.6 hours, not even done. I had to get room on my hard drive because Stalker 250 gigabytes, Call of Duty 100 gigabytes, fuck man, Indiana Jones 100 plus and something gigabytes. It's like damn man, I'm on 1 terabyte, so I'm gonna get an extra terabyte just to get more space eventually. But you see, that I have that. 54% of the achievements. There's some stuff I can easily go back and get real quick. I just, have so much stuff to beat. My log was so crazy, and I was playing a lot of stuff on Game Pass too, by the way. So it's not just my Steam here, but I got Game Pass. I also have GOG, Great Old Games, awesome stuff. But not to get too far off track, we see here the achievement, Duel with Destiny, beat the game. Great game. Game was fucking awesome. Like I really loved it, and I beat any Souls-like games. So let's had to go ahead and get that out the way. But yeah, when you clear these games, like let's say if I wanted to get 100% on that game, do you know how long that would take? Do you know how much direction is put into every scene, into all the music, into all the characters, into all the writing, the dialogue, the personality, all those like culture and arts that you have to like put there to make sure it's right? Same thing with all the like the characters and everything. And when you play something like Astrobot, there's none of that. You don't have to do that. You know what I mean? Mario already made most of the game. How is that even in a best direction category to win against those type of games? Not even close. Same thing with Final Fantasy VII, right? How much do you have to like direct? Like the amount of direction they're doing is 50 to 60 hours of goddamn direction. Same thing with a game like Metaphor. Like it takes so much more complexity and depth and talent to direct a game like that at that high peak and not have any offs for like 50, 60, 70 hours. And if you want 100%, you're getting more directions with all the side quests, new game plus, all of that. You know what I mean? That little 9 hour game where Mario's already done most of the work, man, get out of here. That shit is disrespectful. And that's why I can't stand people like Geoff Keighley because they're just sellouts. And Sony shady just as usual. Game of the year too. It's like no, the impact. What did that game do to the industry? It didn't move the entire industry. It didn't sell tons of PlayStation 5s. It didn't sell 20 million copies, not even 10 million. It didn't even break 4 million. I don't even know if it hit 3 million. You know what I mean? So when we look at like the way that things impact the entire gaming industry, this game did it big time. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth impacted the industry. It was just limited to its audience, but it still did very well, and the game was phenomenal because I beat all these games. You know what I mean? Metaphor, like that game was absolutely amazing. Scored 97 meta as well, along with Rebirth, and that their scale, their the dynamic aspect to them, the amount of content that you get, the amount of direction that's there, is way bigger than Astrobot. Like those three games, even by themselves. Even Elden Ring is a DLC is way bigger than that. Takes way more direction. You know what I mean? Like that's a DLC. I don't believe it belongs in. I think Stellar Blade or Silent Hill 2 should have been in there. But like I said, the amount of impact that they provided is just like, man, get out of here, bro. Like it's pretty obvious you're full of shit. Like you know what I mean? And all the awards that it was winning, it's like that just makes people not have faith in you and to take you serious. And I don't take it serious. The reason why I'm there is for gaming trailers and gameplay reveals, and that the awards I don't take serious. I knew to stop taking it serious after a while when they robbed Nintendo off of some Game of the Year awards. a couple times. And like I said, it just feels like the Hollywood nonsense stuff. Just stuff you see that's like, what does this have to do with video games? You know what I mean? And it's just trash. So let's go down and take a look at some stuff he had to say. As he said, the award ceremony coincided with the release of a fairly large update. For me personally, this project, which took 7 years, has officially come to an end. The 4 award nominations, as he saw, Black Myth Wukong got Best Action Game, Best Art Direction, and Best Game Direction Game of the Year, like the nominations that it got, are all first in China in the end. I got the Best Action and Player, especially the player's voice, which is gratifying, he said. However, it must be admitted that there are losses, regrets, and more illusions. This year's short-listed games are all excellent, but I don't really understand what the selection criteria for this year's games are. I'm here for nothing. I feel like he got robbed. Well, what I could say is that if you were going to get beat, it should have been by something like Final Fantasy VII or, Metaphor, right? Because that's you know what I mean, where it feels more honest, right? Because that's all bullshit. Otherwise, And he continued, from yesterday to now, I've also seen strong dissatisfaction from the remarks of many players, and I have seen unwillingness and unhappiness, mostly expressed in humor and deconstruction, laughing to death. I can fully understand these unwillingness and feel these unhappiness because I know that behind these emotions is not so much pain and malice, but self-esteem and self-confidence. Like, he's very confident about it. He even prepared a 2-year speech ahead that he was so confident. You know what I mean? Like, this game is just, the impact is great. There's no microtransactions. There's no season pass. No, none of that. You get a full made video game. It's not a gacha. And it has a beginning to end, a new game plus, so much content, a lot of mystery, no hand holding where you see a marker and you got to run all the way over here every single time. I mean, it was good. You know what I mean? And the Metacritic is bullshit. Then they tried to get screwed over by Sweet Baby Inc. and all those other DEI woke nonsense, and they beat that and slammed that down. I mean, this game came a long way, and I have to say, there's other outlets that are going to give a Game of the Year award, so I'm happy for that. And like I said, Astro is still a good game, but it's not no Game of the Year. No. So, yeah. During the development of this game, many colleagues were not as optimistic as I was. They may have planned too many intermediate versions, inevitably feel that the game still has too many flaws and is likely to go online on time. This was, back then. He continued, one of the main jobs in the company is to constantly reassure them that we have done a good job and the product has been improving. Yes, you can't be confident only when you've already won. That's not confidence, it's rereading of the results. If you lose today, you may lose tomorrow, but so what? The factors that affect the results are too complex, so the results are necessarily uncertain. The other thing we could be sure of is choosing what we're doing. Do specific things, do difficult things, do what you believe, he stated. And doing this, of course, should be confident. That's cool, I like that message. He said that's what some Tao Te Ching, yin and yang. Next, he addressed critics that believe the game is a one-hit wonder and its success will not be able to be duplicated. No, you can tell when somebody's like talented. Some people say that a team that has never done a standalone game and achieved such results in the first standalone game is a small probability of accident, and it is difficult to copy in the future. I would like to say that that is not an accident. I agree with them. It is inevitable. It is the inevitable result of a collision between Chinese culture, Chinese talents, Chinese business environment, China's gaming industry, and a vast number of players all over the world. Okay, I will give them credit for that, yeah, because there's some things that I do not disagree with they do when it comes to the gacha market and some of the far left stuff. But these guys are not like that. Like, they're real gaming developers and they're actually talented. When I see talent, I give it credit. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be no hater because I probably have a problem with other things. And somebody's trying to do the right thing. You gotta just give them credit for that. So credit where it's due. If we had not seen this necessity early, we would have not made this choice so firmly. It's not a bet, it's a ride. I agree with him. They're not trying to gamble. They're enjoying what they're doing, and they're putting their heart and soul into it, and they're very confident about it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good. That's masculine. Game scientists have the honor to participate in and witness the beginning of this trend. I believe that there will be more colleagues in the future to bring better, more interesting, and more confident Chinese stories to the world, he declared. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Real video games with a beginning and an end, or maybe a continuity where you're not trying to enforce gambling, right? You're not trying to, like, take advantage of people psychologically. You're making a real video game. Like, that's what we want, and none of this far left garbage or political correctness coming in. And then Fei Jing then wrote, there's a saying that almost everyone knows, but many people don't know the words from Journey to the West. There's nothing in the world that is difficult for those who set their minds on it. he said. In my understanding, this sentence does not mean that any difficult can be conquered as long as you like, exactly. But with the mentality of facing up to difficulties, then difficulties and failures are not so terrible. They will not easily bring you down, he explained. A life that can calmly deal with unavoidable difficulties will also lead a more practical life because it's hard, it's fun. I agree, because you want a sense of growth and hardship, and you want to face obstacles to push your soul to break through boundaries, not just get your hand held and imitate things and just get paid off. You know what I mean? That's not, there's not much very soul to that. And when you put that in your game, people can feel it and experience it. And it was in this game, so he then shared why his company is called Game Science. Why is it called Game Science? When we decide to use mathematics, physics, and the base science and engineering derived from it to analyze and solve specific problems, do not engage in metaphysics, do not engage in deification, and do not take the results as the cause. We can truly look at this complex world and see those who are far ahead. Whereas the opponent, if someone doesn't ask specific questions, doesn't talk about arguments and logic, but asserts that something is very difficult and deep, you should probably test him for partial differentials. I agree with him. Science is not truth. Agreed. And science seeks truth from facts. Exactly. Creation and the way things happen, that's not science. It's just observing it. It doesn't create anything, but you want to use it to try to seek out things and get answers and be reasonable. And sometimes it's hypothesis, it's theories or whatever, but ultimately it's how you use the tool, right? So, it's nothing. That's okay. That's good. That's good. It's a part of the pie of creation. In fact, being able to play games and play games is already a very lucky group of people. I agree with him because I think a lot of people get absorbed and take this for granted. Where a lot of the world is still very poor. They don't have a life like this. They can't even wake up, going to sleep, watching TV. Like, it's like that still all over the place, but because people are so self-absorbed in their bubble, they're not able to appreciate that. That is something good to point out. There are still many people in this world who have no chance to play the so-called AAA game at all. They can't even probably get a console or a PC. Many people who have not used the host computer and computer, yes. Many people who feel at a loss, pain, and even despair about their current situation, and many people who are suffering and injustice. Yeah, they're not living really good lives. That's a good way to look at things, to give people contrast and clarity. Like, life is ultimately good, you know what I mean? We're in paradise. So I think the more this is the case, the more we have to create better games and create content that makes more people feel true, good, and beautiful. Yeah, because when you have that moment, you should want to share paradise. You shouldn't want to be a scumbag. You shouldn't want to do those type of things. I like what he's saying. Like, we have this type of moment that other people don't have, so let's not mess this up. Let's make it true, good, and beautiful. Yeah, that's good. I respect that mindset. You know what I mean? That's what I like about the Japanese culture. I have always believed that the greatest value of a good game is to make the distribution of happiness and this world more fair, he noted. The road is still long, the wind is still evil. Tell me about it. Corruption. And the Lich King is arrogant. Yeah, definitely a lot of vampire aspects going on in this world. But we have been getting stronger. That's right. We're going to win. He then finished. Finally, I hope the story of the Black Myth can give some people who are still confused a little courage, so that the people who are still groping in the dark can see a little light and then move on with a normal heart. I hope everyone can continue to be brave, honest, and kind with self-confidence and ambition. Do every specific little thing well. Accept uncertain results calmly, and walk on the road of learning and to the last moment of life. As everyone said, the world is a beautiful place and worth fighting, included. I mean, that's a great speech. I like this guy. It's just cool. That's why I support his game. I like everything that they're doing. And I hope to see more stuff like this come out of China and come along into the gaming industry and make it better. So let me know what y'all think of this. Like, comment, and subscribe. Glad to cover this. All in all, I agree with him. There was some the Game Awards was rigged. We all know this. And also, this is by Fandom Post, written up by John F. Trent. He's a good light worker. He does a lot of good things. So y'all can subscribe to this. I'll let him know that I did this. And yeah, I like what I'm seeing here. And y'all hang in there. It's not over with. Y'all don't know there's a big expansion coming from this. It's going to be like Elden Ring huge from what I've heard. So if you haven't tried this game, I highly recommend doing it. They just came out with a Pro patch too, and a PlayStation 5 patch, so it's running a lot better on consoles. All right, y'all. Peace out. Stay cool. Support great stuff.